Welcome to another episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Sklansky,
And I'm your co-host, Robert Sklansky.
and we're going to the golf course today.
The miniature golf course.
The miniature golf course, putt-putting. It's been a while since I've gone putt-putting.
Oh, I've done a few rounds of mini golf this summer. A lot of fun, man. You should go. Get out
Yeah, I
there.
know. There is one that I really want to go to again. It's been years since I've been there, but the course
Yeah.
is actually like a normal golf course. Like it's a fairway with rough and greens and stuff like that, but it's all miniature golf. You use just a putter to do it all.
I mean, that's what miniature golf is. You use a putter. It'd be really
No,
weird if
but
you use like a 3-iron.
no, but this is like a real golf course. It doesn't have like bumpers on the side and fake
Oh,
whatever. It's like a real golf course, but it's all putting.
interesting.
I know. I haven't been there forever. There was one time I did go. Hey, they even have water hazards and sand traps.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
That's
I
ridiculous.
know. I gotta go. So, if you guys don't already know, we're talking about the Dead Putting Society episode of The Simpsons today.
We are.
For those of you that have been keeping track, it's from season 2, episode 6. And my guess is the title was taken from the Dead Poet Society, which I've never seen, so I don't know if there's necessarily any correlation between the title of the episode and...
I thought Dead Poets Society, excuse me, came out in mid-90s?
Oh, did it?
Hold on.
Yeah, we'll look that up here quickly.
Yeah.
But in this episode, which was aired on November 15th, 1990...
Dead Poets Society came out in 1989, so it was probably a nod to the movie.
That's my guess, but like I said, never saw it, so unfortunately,
Yep.
I don't know if the episode itself correlates
I
with
don't.
that, or if they were just making name puns.
I think they were just making a name pun.
Nice. All right. So shout out to 1989 movie.
Yep.
All right. So the recap for this episode: Lisa gives Bart tips on handling the pressure of a mini golf grudge match with a neighbor's son.
Bum bum bum. Now, yeah, I love this episode. It's a really good episode. The chalkboard gag this week is I am not a 32-year-old woman.
No.
Did he steal somebody's identity? Did he steal somebody's like driver's license?
Did he do the whole? Maybe him and Milhouse did the whole dress up with a trench coat thing and a wig? And
but then why is it Milhouse in there writing on the chalkboard?
Because Milhouse didn't get caught. Only Bart got caught.
Or did he prank phone call somebody pretending to be a 32-year-old woman?
Ooh, it could have been him prank phone calling Principal Skinner.
Oh, could be Principal Skinner. I was gonna say no.
As like a no, because remember he's doing this in school.
That's true.
He got in trouble so maybe he was be pretending to be a woman to date Principal Skinner or
maybe
something along those lines, and he got caught because even though. So this is the funniest thing about it. I wonder if the voice actor that does Bart, obviously she's a woman.
Correct.
I wonder how old she was when this episode came out, because I bet you she was 32 years old when she recorded this episode.
It's very possible.
And so that's the joke.
It's very possible.
All right, so we'll put a pin in that, and we'll get back to you for episode 7 on if that is actually true.
Or later in this episode.
Maybe. We'll see. All right, so the couch gag this week: Snowball and Santa's little helper join the rest of the Simpsons on the couch. And they're sitting like humans, which is really kind of cool because until this episode, and even episode 7, which will be next week, we actually see Santa's little helper and Snowball a little bit more present in the Simpsons family.
Yeah.
So
Nancy Cartwright is in this episode, she would have been 40. No, let me do my math again. 33 years old.
Okay, so maybe it was him pretending to be Nancy Cartwright? I mean, close. I mean, 33, 32, pretty close.
Yeah.
So if anyone out there knows the true meaning of the 32-year-old woman bit, let us know. But we're right now, I think we're gonna our lead thing is the Nancy Cartwright thing. What do you
Yes.
think? I think we're gonna go with that. That's the reason why Bart's writing that on the board, because it's a
Yep.
shout out to her.
Yes. We'll go with that.
Okay. So Homer struggles to mow the lawn at the beginning of the episode.
I'm not
And
sure if I feel like we covered this in season 1 with the whole lawnmower thing,
we
but
did.
to reiterate to anybody who might not have listened to that episode, the first gas-powered lawnmower was made in 1902, over 100 years ago. The first gas lawnmowers were brought to the US in 1919. So we've had the lawnmowers here for about 100 years now.
But the Simpsons apparently still can't afford one.
Which is weird because you got to figure by 1990. I mean, granted, I guess a lawnmower these days costs a decent lawnmower costs around $200.
Yeah. So I mean, I not to be fair, I have seen people around the city of Minneapolis actually using one of these push
Lawnmower.
lawnmowers. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
they
guess
do.
it's good exercise, maybe, because
I mean,
you
I
really got to push to cut the grass.
you well, not really, not these new ones. You really don't have to, but you can maybe for smaller lawns. It's good for smaller lawns
Yeah,
because you don't need. It's kind of like you can see the people that riding lawnmowers have it for bigger yards. We have an automatic, just a normal
yeah.
lawnmower for our size yards. But maybe, well, Simpson's yard seems pretty big. It seems like they should have a
A gas lawnmower.
a gas lawnmower, but maybe the smaller the yard, you're like, well, why do I need a gas lawnmower if it's only going to take me 10 minutes to push this thing around and cut the grass?
Yeah,
But I feel like those blades need to be sharpened like twice a year, 3 times a year to
yeah,
keep them fresh. So we learned that Bart was supposed to be mowing the lawn, but instead he's reading comic books in his room and doing his science experiment, which it's still just a potato.
yeah.
That's a great science experiment. I mean, what do you think it was? What happens if I just let a potato sit on my desk for?
Well, there is a Community episode where they do a potato experiment where they just let it sit in a glass and see what happens. Maybe they stole that from them, but I don't know.
So once again, The Simpsons did it. They gave Community maybe another parody into a future show.
Yeah.
So next up, we get.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep. So Ned sees Homer mowing the lawn over there, and he's like, "We want to come over for beer," because Homer's arguing with Marge about
Not.
getting not having any, and
I
she
love the.
suggests for juice.
Yeah, and then Homer's like, "You better not be playing with me, woman." Like he wants his beer.
So Ned invites Homer over for a beer, and Homer agrees, saying that he's earned a break after mowing a very tiny patch of grass.
Like it's just a tiny patch of grass. He didn't do
But to be
anything.
but to be fair, we don't know where he started. He could have started in the backyard.
But
He could have
here's the thing:
started on
the animation, all the grass is like a dark green, and the little patch he mowed was a light green.
But
So
remember, he has a lot of crabgrass everywhere.
that is true.
So crabgrass could be a different shade. We learned that they've been neighbors for 8 years,
Yep.
and Homer finally invites him, or Ned finally invites him over. I mean, to be
Yep.
fair, I don't think they were very neighborly to begin with. And then we get to see Homer get the beer from Ned, which is a import because Ned doesn't seem to like beer from America, or he does, or he likes what are those called? Home brews, or can't think of the term right now. Homer gets his beer from Ned in a mug with the slogan "Macho Mug" on it.
Is that like
Ha-
Macho Man?
I think it's like Macho Man, but it's a Macho Mug. It was a pretty big mug of beer. And so we also get to see the first appearance of Maude Flanders. And she comes down to the stairs and offers some sandwiches. And we get some pet names. So Ned Flanders says to Maude, "There's my little popcorn ball, kissy kissy."
Yeah.
And then Maude is like, "Hello, sponge cake."
Gross.
I know
Gross.
those seems like very
Yeah.
odd pet names for
Yeah.
someone.
We also get our first speaking appearance of Rod Flanders when he comes down to say, "Oh, thanks, Dad, for helping with my homework," and that's all nice. I do like the fact that Ned has a railroad crossing sign in his basement. I love that. I don't know where he got it
Yep.
from.
Well, but he has the railroad tracks, the train set
No, that's
on the
true.
far side of his rumble.
That's
So it
true.
could be in correlation to that. I do like. So we'll talk about a little bit later how Ned reaches out to Reverend Lovejoy, but we all know that Reverend Lovejoy is a lover of train sets.
That's
So
true.
I almost wonder if that's why Ned has it as well, is because Ned tries to annoy and be exactly like Reverend Lovejoy.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some correlation to why they both have that. But then Homer freaks out because Flanders apparently has a good life, and Homer feels Ned is rubbing it in his face,
Yeah.
which he really wasn't. But
No. And I love the fact that Homer's like, "Oh, your life is so good, blah blah blah," and you're just rubbing it in my face. It's like Homer is very insecure in his life, and I feel like he should be happy. He's got 3 healthy kids. I mean, one of them's kind of a brat, but he's got a loving wife. They got a nice home. So I don't know what he's so upset about. I mean,
yep, and I do like how they're both tossing, like Ned and Homer kind of do the tossing in bed
oh
type of thing,
yeah,
like they can't sleep, and that's when Homer has the argument with Marge.
oh he's Mr. Perfect now. Look at him.
No, 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 Marge, you were right. Don't backpedal.
Yeah. And then Ned, as you alluded to earlier, he's flipping out. He can't sleep. And Maud's like, well, why don't there's one person you can talk to? And I think she was alluding to praying to God because they are a very religious household.
Yep.
And he calls Reverend Lovejoy, and on Ned's speed dial, he's got Reverend's work and home number, the recycling center, and the bookmobile.
I didn't know a bookmobile had a phone because it's just like an RV with lots of books in it.
Yeah, that's what a bookmobile is.
So I I,
Congratulations.
I don't know. I mean, I guess speaker car phones were at least semi popular in the 90s. So maybe the bookmobile had one. I guess maybe if the library had to get a hold of the bookmobile for some specific reason, it might have a
I feel like there's a
phone in it.
future episode where we see Ned working for the bookmobile. So,
Well, we'll keep an eye out for that.
yeah.
So Ned is like, and like Reverend gives him the quote or whatever about basically writing a letter to your neighbor. So
Oh,
Ned's
yeah.
like, oh, great idea. And so he writes a letter to Homer and his family. And as Homer, comes home from his walk, Ned hands it to him, and
Yep.
Homer reads it on the porch and starts giggling. And so he goes into the kitchen and reads it
The family.
to the family, and Marge yells at them for laughing, but leaves the room to laugh herself because obviously she can't show it to her family if she's
Oh,
telling them
no.
to stop. But the top of the notepad that Ned writes letter on is from the noggin of Ned.
I mean, it's from his noggin. I do like bosom. Bosom is a funny word.
Yep. I feel a great sadness in my bosom.
The one thing though, watching that, you see Lisa, laughing along and like just not showing any compassion. I feel like Lisa, of all the Simpsons, should be like, you know what, we should be taking this seriously because she doesn't really have any friends. Granted, we don't really know that until future seasons. I feel like there's one episode where they move and she says goodbye and like, oh, this really doesn't have an impact because we weren't really friends. So you think Lisa would be like, you know what, Ned's really trying to reach out, maybe we should be nicer to him. But no, she's just there along for the ride.
She is still just a kid, and come on, bosom. Yeah,
uh
try not to laugh.
bosom.
So Marge wishes the Simpsons were as close as the Flanders. So Homer suggests mini golf and frosty chocolate milkshakes, which who doesn't like that?
I prefer the mint milkshakes, but
Okay.
frosty chocolate milkshakes are always a good second choice.
And it's funny because Marge is like, we should be closer as a family. Homer offers a very good solution,
You're not
but
wrong.
Marge is like, well, I was gonna wash my hair, and Lisa's like, well, I'm studying for the math fair. And if she wins, she gets a new protractor, in which Homer replies, "Too bad we don't live on a farm." Because
Uh,
maybe he thought the protractor was a protractor.
like a
Like
professional
like a
tractor?
professional tractor.
It's Homer. He's not a smart man.
No, but I could see where he was going with it.
Really?
I,
Really? Lisa, math, you don't know what a protractor is?
oh, I
Clearly,
know.
Homer doesn't know what a protractor is.
No, he does not. Well, I guess, do you really need to know angles and stuff like that at a nuclear power plant? I don't think so. I think that's more architecture you would need
Oh, but we'll
need a
find out later. You do need to know angles, but we'll
You
get into that.
do. Oh
So
yeah.
they head off to Sir Putz-a-Lot Merry Old Fun Center. They have Ye Go-Karts, Her Majesty's Batting Cage, Merlin's Video Dungeon, and Skee Ball.
Yes. And spoiler alert, this is where Homer has all three of their kids.
Dude, spoilers.
I did say spoilers. So you can't say anything. But the theme of, okay, so I don't know if it was a just a really really early on part of Maggie's life, but I like how Maggie gets to just roam around the golf course at will.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in the next episode, in season or episode 7,
It's the same thing.
we're gonna get to Maggie's shenanigans
Yeah.
in season 2, episode 7.
So she roams around the golf course. I do like the sign on the grass reads, "Please do not destroy or bang putters against obstacles or figures." You know what, though? Here's the thing. You need that sign because there are some awful kids out there who will do that stuff. Or even adults because they get angry because they're not good at miniature golf.
That's just really funny when you get really upset and you just want to huck your club, or I mean, who doesn't want to do? I've done that on real golf courses.
Oh, I went golfing a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago, and one of the guys I went golfing with, he threw his one of his irons and had a temper tantrum, which I don't blame him because he plays golf semi regularly. I was terrible because I don't play golf, but I'm not going to get upset because I don't really play the sport.
Yep. So we learn on the very first hole, Homer putts the ball and we think, oh, he's doing great. It goes into the hole. And then we learn it comes out of a hole that goes into the parking lot.
Okay, who designs their miniature golf course this way? That can't be right.
It is pretty funny though.
Why hit it in the middle hole?
I mean, you would think that you would know if you, well, maybe, I mean, Homer obviously used to work at this golf course. He used to work for this golf course.
Well, maybe it changed over time.
Maybe some jerk thought it was really funny to change the tubes that go down and make one pop up out of the parking lot. And so we also learn how bad Homer really is when Bart does his scoring and he's like six.
Well, they play with a 6-stroke limit, which I feel like when we went mini golfing as kids, that's what we played as too.
Well, I think that was just the rule, like literally written on the cards. Like,
was it?
Well, yeah, just because you take if they don't want you taking forever on a hole because there's other
That's
families
true.
wanting to play. But we see Homer on the ape hole, and
Yep.
when Homer misses a putt, he hops and waves his arms in the same fashion as the mechanical ape.
Yeah,
On the golf course.
That scene reminded me a lot from Happy Gilmore. When he's learning to putt at the miniature golf course, and there's the clown that keeps spitting the ball back out at him. He goes, "You're gonna die, clown." I really felt that when Homer just goes bananas over the gorilla, not allowing his ball in. And because Maggie is roaming the golf course, you see the Flanders playing, and the Flanders come up, and Todd is like, "Oh, Mr. Simpson, this is how you should putt the ball, and just play for a birdie." And he shoots it around the ape, and he actually gets a hole in one.
Yep, but I love Homer's reaction. He's like, "That shot's impossible. Jack Nicholson himself couldn't make it."
That's a great reference right there.
I mean, I love the fact that you never actually, at least to my knowledge, ever see Homer watching golf or knowing golf.
No.
Or I mean, Jack Nicholson, yes, he's a household name.
That's true.
I drink Arnold Palmer's. Well, no, never mind. That's Arnold Palmer. Wow.
Yeah, dude, seriously? Yeah, Jack Nicholson. No,
but Jack Nicholson. Yeah, wrong guy. But Jack Nicholson is a pretty well-known household golfer. Yeah. So I feel like maybe either Grandpa Simpson heard it or Homer maybe watched golf in that era with Abe. But Homer obviously knew who Jack Nicholson was, which was kind of cool, kind
Yeah.
of good reference. And,
So after they're done, they see a sign for a miniature golf tournament.
which I wish we had as kids growing up. It'd be
That would
so
have been
much
kind of fun.
fun.
That would have been
I
fun.
I
Unless
mean
they
we
did it and we just didn't know about it.
it was just so weird because we used to go to that pirate, or no, it was the safari themed golf course
Yeah.
quite a bit. It was only like 15
Well,
minute
like
drive from our
20-minute
house.
drive.
Yeah. And we used to go there quite often because dad would take us to the batting cages there quite often. So
And
we'd go golfing there.
mom would go miniature golfing with us. I don't ever
Yeah. So I,
I don't ever recall our dad going miniature golfing with us. I remember going to the batting cages, but never him mini golfing with us ever
no,
once.
maybe not, but they were in that same complex.
They were.
I personally don't remember there ever being a miniature golf tournament, but
Nope.
I would have loved to have done it. So the golf tournament sign reads "Free balloon for everyone who enters," which
I
I mean that's a pretty good incentive.
now
I
here's
want a
the
free
question
balloon.
though, because you see a lot of kids. The sign doesn't specifically say kids, does it?
No, I don't think it did, but obviously it's a miniature golf
So
course.
why
And
weren't there any adults in this turn? Like, there's no mention that this is only for kids a certain age.
no, it
So
doesn't. But
couldn't
but to be
adults enter?
possibly, but to be fair, we so at the end of the tournament, we'll get to that the little board with all the names on it.
Yeah,
But maybe some of those were the adults golfing. We'll get to that in just a second. But like even like Wiggum's name was on there. It wasn't Ralph Wiggum. It was just the last name Wiggum. And we haven't met Ralph Wiggum yet. We've only met Police Chief
Chief.
Wiggum.
That's true.
So it's maybe possible that since Ralph wasn't a known name yet,
Yeah,
that it could have been Police Chief Wiggum in the tournament.
yeah. So
So next
Homer and
yeah,
Flanders yell at each other and say, "Oh, my boy can beat your boy." Homer and Bart go to get milkshakes and talk, and Homer is like, "If there's ever a time I don't want you to lose, it is right now."
yeah, he's like Bart's like, Dad, I've never won anything in my life. And then Homer's like, son, this is the only time I'm ever gonna save this. It's not okay to lose. Which, man, that is just god awful device. And I mean, maybe nowadays, that you would get shot for saying that to a kid. But in the 90s, there's
Yeah.
still competition. We don't have participation. We never had participation trophies
No.
way back then.
Was this also the part of the episode where they make the bet, or is that a little bit later?
A little bit later. So after their little tiff at
Talk.
the milkshake shop, Homer's in the backyard actually trying to teach Bart how to be a great mini golfer. And he uses Santa's little helper as an obstacle.
I love how he's like, stay. And then he tells Bart to put his head down, and Santa's little helper puts his head down, and Homer's like, I wasn't talking to you. But
Yeah,
Santa's little helper is
a future.
Santa's little helper, as we've learned through the years, he's a very good dog. He's a very good dog. He doesn't run away. Unless it's
Well,
with Bart, which we'll learn about later.
yep. But we also learn that Santa's little helper has literally no training, and we'll learn in a future episode
That's
where
true.
they go to get him some training.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Homer, gives Bart the naming the putter speech because what putter doesn't name names? Because Bart's like, okay, I've done my backyard stuff. He goes to his room, and Homer's like, Bart throws it on the ground, and
This is
Homer's
your
like,
putter.
that putter is, yep. He's like, it's what a bat is to a baseball player, what a violin is to that guy, the violin guy. Now, come on, give your putter a name. And Bart's like, what? Come on, give it a name.
Putter?
Mr. Putter.
No, it's
Do you
got to
want
be
to
a
try?
woman's name.
No, he's like, do you want to try a little harder, son? Come on, give it a girl's name. Mom. Your partner's name is Charlene. Why? It just is. That's why. Now, is Charlene the name of the country singer or the chick that Homer goes to the power plant like expo with and almost
we'll have to wait. I believe it's the country singer.
Okay, because I was like, this name sounds so familiar, but I know we haven't talked about that episode yet.
No, we have not.
So, okay, we'll put a pin in it, but I think it's funny that this name comes up now and the Simpsons recycle that name in the future. No, it's Lurleen is the country singer. So I think
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Char Charlene might be the name of the chick that goes to the power plant thing.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in it.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
All right. So after that, Lisa's or is it the Lisa? Yeah, Lisa's comes in. It's like Lisa's glad that Homer has no interest in her, and Bart's like, "What's that thing
I feel like
that
that one
I'm being
piece
like
in
I'm being?"
chess.
Yep. And Lisa's something about the bishop being like cornered or something, or the other
But
one is the
she's like,
pawn.
"Oh, you probably mean a pawn."
Yep.
I do like they pan over all of Bart's trophies, and he basically has a participation trophy on his shelf.
Yep. Well, no, he has an everybody gets a trophy day trophy. They must have had just a bunch of trophies they were trying to give away. So they're
They
like,
predicted the future though, because I feel like when I played soccer and we actually won our age division, we got trophies. I mean, I got second place and third place trophies, but like
yeah,
not every team got a trophy. And nowadays, oh, you played, good for you. Here's a trophy. So they
yeah.
kind of predicted that. I don't know if in the early 90s everybody got a trophy, but definitely
I
in this day and age.
personally don't think so. I mean, all the sports I played, baseball, bowling, even golf when I played that in tournaments and stuff. Not, I mean, it was definitely not everyone gets a trophy. I
No.
know that. Now, if you were in first place, then everyone on the team got a trophy.
Well, yeah, because it's
Yeah.
first place. Everybody
Yep.
got first place.
Yep. Lisa kind of, is thankful that she's not interacting in this craziness with Ned, so she's like, "I'll teach you how to miniature golf."
Yeah.
And so they go to the library, and Lisa literally knows everyone at the library.
She goes there. I mean, she's a bookworm. That's what she does.
And I
She
like
goes
how
there.
they use a card catalog. I know computerized systems really weren't there in the 90s, and we even
We
our
learned the
school.
Dewey Decimal System.
Oh yeah, I mean our school had a card catalog. We didn't have computers or anything,
No.
so I do love that it's there's a card catalog, and obviously Lisa knows how to use it, and Bart thinks you have to
Again,
buy the
she goes to the
books.
library all the time.
Yep. And Bart's like Lisa's like, here's these books. Bart's like, we can't afford all these books.
We're just borrowing them because you're at a library.
Yep. And I don't know if Bart actually read any of the books because he's lazy, and we all know that when Bart tries to study, he just falls asleep
Yeah.
anyway. So Lisa takes him, presumably, can't say for sure, but presumably takes Bart to like Mount Springfield because they're kind of up high and
Yeah.
on a cliff. And Lisa's like, Bart, what's the sound of one hand clapping?
That's the
Like,
sound of one hand clapping.
yep. Lisa's like, that's a rhetorical question. No, look, listen. And so he's like, okay, let's try this one. If a tree falls in the wood and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? And Bart's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But if nobody's around to hear it, and then
Yep.
Bart's like, Zen.
Yep. And then Lisa's like, you're ready.
So they go to the mini golf course, and Lisa, she wasn't with them when they went mini golfing. It was just Bart and Homer because she had to study for the math fair. So she clearly, I guess she doesn't go mini golfing because she's like, oh, this seems to be rudimentary geometry, which you need a protractor for. Just saying. So she uses her math skills to help Bart.
But she just used the tape measure though to
She did,
measure angles and stuff,
but she still
which is
used
really funny.
math.
Yes, and she's like, if you just hit the ball here, and Bart hits the ball there, and it gets a hole in one.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's kind of funny if you think about all sports really use a form of geometry. I mean, if you look at hockey, to bounce the board, if you're making
Puck
a
off the
pass to
board.
a player, a puck off the board, or dribbling a basketball and passing it off.
Well,
the
I don't know about
ground.
dribbling a basketball, but shooting a basketball, because there's an angle on it, or playing pool or baseball with home runs and launch angles. As much as I hate geometry, and I hate me some geometry, it's everywhere.
It is. You have to know it. Maybe not practically you need to know it, but you don't have to do the formulas. Like you don't have to
Do the
you just have to
Pythagorean
know
theorem.
how. Yep, yeah. You just have to know how angles work and
Yeah.
and stuff
So,
like
but
that.
the one scene, so a couple of the scenes were actually based off the Karate Kid, like when Bart, so we see a shot of Bart in it's sunset and he's standing on the trash can in the crane position. That is parody of Karate Kid, which
It
is a great
is.
movie.
Yep.
All the
Uh,
Zen stuff is like Karate Kid, like gotta focus.
yep. And one thing we kind of stepped over during like the montage of Lisa teaching Bart some putting skills is they go to a bar,
Oh yeah,
and
because
I
it's
don't even
raining
know.
out. It's raining out.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know how they got in to begin with, but Bart is up on the pool table playing
Putting.
pool and or putting pool balls,
Yeah.
and Krusty and some biker gang looking dude come up to play pool, and I swear Krusty looks like such a rundown gang member. Like he's like obviously out of makeup, and I swear this is the only other time aside from getting arrested that we've seen Krusty out of makeup and out of character. It's
Yeah, it's
just
weird.
so
I
weird.
don't know why they did it that way. And there is a theory, and again, it's just a theory because it's a garbage theory and I don't agree with it, that Krusty the Clown is actually Homer in disguise. So if you take that theory with a grain of salt, maybe Homer was spying on Bart and Lisa. However, I don't buy into the theories, and Krusty was just at a pool hall. We do know Krusty likes to gamble,
We do,
so
yep.
so him being at a pool hall is not really out of character for him, I think. But kind of not seeing him on television is really weird.
Well, and even out of makeup, like even when he does things, like
Yeah,
we've seen him go to the track, we've seen him at that mob, we've seen him out of the TV setting a few times so far, but he's still in
yeah,
his makeup, so it seems just rather odd
yeah,
to see him in that type of position.
yeah.
So now we get to the meat and potatoes of the episode. We
The
get
bet.
to the bet. And so the boy who doesn't win,
Win. No, no,
as
no. It's the
Homer,
father of the boy
the
who
boy who
doesn't win
doesn't
has to mow the lawn in their wife's
in
Sunday's
his
dress.
wife's Sunday dress.
Yeah, that's an interesting wager. Don't know if I'd make that if I had kids. Clearly, at this point, Homer believes Bart is better than Todd, because otherwise, why would he? I mean, he made the bet because he's insecure and he wants to one up Flanders.
But I think it's funny through a little bit of Homer's talking to Bart, you feel like Homer doesn't think Bart's gonna win though. Like he's always talking down to him, and you
Well, no,
have to
Ned's the one
win.
that wanted to change the wording of the boy who loses because Ned was like, that seems a little harsh. So he's the one that suggested the father of the boy who doesn't win.
Yeah, I'm just saying that Homer doesn't really think Bart can win because
No.
the way that he talks to him. But I do like right before the bet, Homer saying, Flanders offers the wager on their son's golf tournament by saying that he's not a betting man, and
Yeah.
Homer begins clucking like a
Chicken.
chicken.
Oh my God. Oh, Homer Simpson.
But yep,
Forever a child.
yep. So they shake hands, and I the funny thing is the tournament's coming up, it's like the next day or something, but it seems like there's more to the tournament than just a one day. Maybe it was all in one day,
Maybe
but
it was a weekend thing. Like maybe
it's
it started on like a
possible.
Friday and ended on a Sunday.
And we just got to see the finals because apparently Bart and Todd
Yeah.
are the best golfers. Because otherwise, this whole story wouldn't make any
Makes
sense if
sense.
one of them got kicked out in the second
Yeah.
round.
I do find it very creepy that the night before, I guess the tournament started, Homer goes into Bart's room to watch him sleep.
Yep. I
Like, I
mean,
feel like I know you have a kids, and I'm sure our parents watched us when we were babies because, oh, we're cute. We're not making noise and we're not spitting up and making poopy diapers and we're peaceful.
and then when Bart wakes up, it's like
Yeah.
and it's like it's the day of the tournament. Well, that's the funny thing. He's like, it's the day of the tournament, and I'm like, well, this seems like it must have taken, or unless he meant today's like the finals, like it's the final day of the tournament. But
Maybe.
it makes it seem like they're putting like nine. Either it was a 9-hole tournament, or my guess is 9-hole tournament if they
I
went through it
mean,
in one
miniature
day.
golf doesn't take that long to play. So I feel like
No,
you could do a tournament because I feel like on the board there were like what, 8 names?
yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like. I don't know if it was one of those where you have 8 names on one half, 8 names on the other half, and it comes down to the center. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just that one half. But then again, only 8 people sign up for this tournament, huh?
Yeah. So after that, we go to the kitchen. Homer's reading the newspaper, and Marmaduke exists in the Simpsons universe.
Well, it's a very popular comic strip, and so you have to make sure that very popular comics get in there.
It's true.
And then I like how Bart memorized the course, like Lisa saying, hole 9, hole
Oh yeah.
8. So Lisa's or Marge is making breakfast for Bart, steak, eggs, like a
Yeah.
lumberjack breakfast, and Lisa's like, no, oatmeal's a breakfast for champions, and
That's
then
what they feed
Homer's like,
the horses at the Kentucky Derby. Bart is in fact not a horse.
a horse.
He is a human growing boy and he needs his meal.
Yep.
Granted, I feel like if you're playing a very like physical sport like hockey or football, eggs and steak probably isn't the best thing to eat before a game. I don't know.
No.
I haven't played sports in a very long time.
But I know like runners will do like pasta. Like they'll
Oh, carbo load?
eat up their carbo. Yep, they'll carbo load. Runners will. So we finally get to the golf tournament, and we learn that KBBL it probably sponsors the ye old first annual miniature golf tournament.
So it's the
We
first
learn
year.
now.
First year of this
First
tournament.
year.
Which
So
it's really weird because why is this the first year? Why did they decide to do it like I don't know. It's really
and we
odd.
never first and last because I don't think we ever hear from it ever again.
No.
It
Maybe
would be
because
kind of
of the way it ended, which we'll get to in a minute.
yeah, and I love the golf announcers at the
Yeah.
tournament.
They
It's
have
just
the golf
slow
tournaments.
moving.
Well, they have the one British guy and the one non-British guy.
Yep, that was so funny. Bart and Lisa, or Bart is up at the first hole, and Todd's right on his heels. It's just really, really good. And so we come to Flanders praying on the very last day,
No, I think it
and
was the beginning of the tournament.
or at the beginning of the tournament, and what was it? Hey Flanders, it's no use praying. I already did the same thing, and we can't both win. And then Flanders like, actually, Simpson, we're praying that no one gets hurt. Oh well, Flanders, it doesn't matter. This time tomorrow you'll be wearing high heels.
And I love how they get into that the nah you kind of thing, and Homer's like infinity, and Ned Flanders goes infinity +1, and Homer's like, darn, he got me.
I just love the fact that Flanders played the Infinity +1 card. I did not see that coming from Flanders, although he was very angry.
He was very angry, which I feel like this is one of the few episodes we ever see Ned get angry. I mean, there's the one where he
Yep.
like has a mental breakdown.
Yes.
But like outside of that, Ned is a very calm and nice guy.
And he'll
Nice
just
dude.
take crap. He'll take crap. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
throw it back. Normally he just takes it.
Yeah.
And why do you think Homer gets to borrow all of Ned's tools and he just takes it and never
Yeah.
returns it? Doesn't get mad.
Yeah. So we go to Bart putting, and he's under a lot of pressure, so he starts saying over and over again, tree falling in the woods, tree falling in the woods. The face he makes is just like Zen hypnotized. And he just hits the ball and gets a hole in one. It's weird. It's a little weird.
I mean, he went Zen. Bart kind of took it down a little bit and took his calm, and he got it.
Yeah. They're on the last. Oh, I do agree with this note. The itchy and scratchy hole. That is a great hole.
But I feel like it doesn't fit in with any of the other holes on the golf course.
Not at all. I think they threw that in there because it's itchy and scratchy.
It is, but I just thought it was funny. You got the standard holes. You got the hole where you hit it in the thing's mouth. You got the windmill.
I was half expecting like one of the boys to hit the ball at that hole and like the ball to like shoot up into the air or something.
I think it would have been kind of fun. On the last hole, Homer shouts, "If you lose, you're out of the family."
And according to him, Vince Lombardi said that. Now, maybe he said that. I think he had kids. I really should know this. I live in Green Bay, and I root for the Packers. But I can assure you, Vince Lombardi did never said that as like one of those things that you hear people quote. Now
Yes.
we do know that Homer is a football fan. We learned that in future episodes. So I'm not surprised that he knows who Vince Lombardi is. I'm just surprised that he would think he would know what Vince Lombardi quoted.
So Bart and Todd are, you know what? We're both winners here. We did it, which is kind of funny because we always learn how much of a bad boy Bart is, but we also know that Bart does kind of have a soft spot in his heart.
He does. He
He
does.
really does.
Now, to be fair, they're both equal distance from the hole. They both realize they're really good. They were probably both going to make the putt. I don't know what the rule book states, if they have to keep going like in real golf, or
I'd
if
say sudden death hole, maybe.
or Bart, Bart and Todd are like Todd, because I feel like Todd was the one that initiated it, and so Bart's like, yeah, you know what, I get to split the winnings. That's fair.
Yeah, $25 each. Bart's a kid. He likes his $25.
Hey man, that's a lot of squishies in comic books.
That's right. All right, so Homer's like, okay, so or Ned's like, the bet's off. It's a good thing. Or we should take off after our kids and what they've done.
Yeah.
And Homer's like, oh, you're gonna squelch on the bet, huh? And he's like, the rule states for the father of the boy who doesn't lose, and they both didn't win.
But they don't. But here's
And
the thing: neither boy lost, and neither boy. I guess they technically both won. So Ned is
yep.
actually in the right because it's the father of the boy who doesn't win. Well, both boys technically won. They both technically lost. The bet at that point is null and void, in my opinion.
But I
I'm
like how
not a
the
lawyer. I don't play one on TV, but I feel like that wording, neither Homer or Ned should have to honor the bet.
No, but I love the fact that Homer's like, yeah, I know I have to do it too. I'm like, why would you even do that?
I
And
know.
then we learn in the next scene that Ned does not mind being in his dress mowing the lawn.
Because it reminds him of his fraternity days. So clearly, I don't know if we ever do a lot of flashback episodes with Ned. I know we do one with his parents,
You know,
but I don't remember really doing anything with his college days. Ned does not strike me as a man who would be part of a fraternity. Maybe the fraternity and like college kind of turned him more towards the Christian path. And
well, I think, but we do learn that Ned was kind of crazy. I guess I don't know when his mentality changed, but we do
that's
remember
true.
we do see him as that crazy kid because we remember with him and his parents, he dumps over the ink on the desk,
Oh,
and
it's true.
his dad goes crazy, or a wild boy. And we do know, I think it was the one where Ned actually goes to the insane asylum or whatever,
Yeah.
where we learn about his childhood and him being. So maybe he didn't finally turn it around till after college. So maybe Ned was a little bit of a party guy. And
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you and your frat brothers ever wore Sunday dresses.
No, we weren't. We weren't
You
crazy.
didn't haze each other.
We did not.
That's probably it's good. Good. Hazing is bad.
But yeah, so I love Marge, and she's like moaning, "Oh, my best dress." And Lisa's like, why do I get the feeling that someday I'll be describing this to a therapist?
You know, and the funny thing about that line is I don't ever recall, outside of the season 1 episode, I don't ever recall seeing Lisa going to a therapist.
No.
I'd like to see that episode where she's
maybe
recounting this stuff.
Maybe it's maybe it would be one of those like future episodes when she grows up.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
We
done
can
a
have
lot
one
of
of those. They have. So like season 32 right here. Let's say episode 10 or something. Let's do a future flash forward where Lisa's in psychiatry, and we have it's like a flash forward flashback episode.
That'd be kind of cool. I'm surprised they really haven't done something like that yet.
That would be really funny. A flash forward flashback episode.
And The Simpsons has been on the air so long. That's actually kind of one of the things they have never done. Not that I can recall. So I enjoyed this episode. It's a really good episode. It hits all the right notes. I'm going to go with a 4. I don't think it really hits that peak 5 for me. That's got a lot of good jokes. It's, it's funny, it's smart, it's witty, but I don't think it. There's a couple parts that are like, really, like the Homer. Oh, we still have to honor the bet, and he still does it even though he doesn't have to. And so I'm gonna go with a 4, sprinkles, but it's again, as I said last week, they're starting to hit their stride. They're starting to hit that stride.
I mean, I'm going with an everything's coming up Millhouse. I just loved, like, I turned this episode on, and I'll kind of recount this as we go through from now till, at least season 15, where I turn it on, I see the first like 5 seconds of the episode, and I know exactly which episode it is. And from my gut, I start giggling, and I am just remembering all the jokes kind of
Oh yeah, absolutely.
before they come. And just, I love the interaction action between Lisa and Bart. The only downside that I could see is I wish there was more of the Homer and Bart training.
Yeah,
I just a little bit more of it, but I get why Lisa was kind of the main character in that section, because Lisa does feel out of touch with her family, and it's kind of a good way to get her almost involved in Bart's life.
yeah,
And Bart loves it and wants to, at least, within his heart, say, hey, you know what? I have this great little sister. She's teaching me how to do things. And it kind of almost comes off when, Todd's like, hey, let's end this.
yeah.
Bart kind of takes that nicety that his sister gives and,
I
really applies it to his life.
I just cannot get to that 5 level though. It's a great episode. Don't get me wrong. I just, for me, I there's just something about it that doesn't scream a 5.
Can I, can I try to say one thing to change your mind?
Sure.
Bosom.
No, that's not going to change my mind. But from the bottom of my bosom.
Oh, that
Uh,
was good. All
so,
right.
who are
So
we
let's
profiling this week?
So this week we're gonna profile little Todd Flanders. His position in life is the God-fearing son of God-fearing Ned Flanders.
I mean, they are a God fearing people.
They are. I mean, it is funny that Todd is in this position. I mean, granted, kids love miniature golf. Don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah,
feel like in future episodes, Todd is the scaredest kid in the world.
you're
Like he
not
doesn't
wrong.
have like he doesn't have sugar. He can't watch these cartoons. He can't go out and play. He's almost like a bubble wrap kid.
Yeah,
So it really seems odd in this instance where Todd's actually out of his shell almost,
yeah.
and being in a competition. Todd does not scream miniature golf competitor to me.
No.
His nicknames are the Toddmeister, Study Buddy, and the Toddski. I don't know why we really have to go over this, but we will anyway. His religion is wholeheartedly devoted to Christianity.
I mean, that's a given.
Yes, and apparently his favorite sport is miniature golf. So
There you go. Todd
makes sense.
Flanders.
Now, his secret shame,
Oh,
we
yeah.
haven't gone over this episode yet, but was once transformed into a hellion by the sugary power of pixie sticks.
Oh, my
And
God.
this is a great
Oh, that's a
episode.
good
So
episode.
it's a few seasons away, but if you guys know that reference,
I believe
just
Lisa babysat for him, didn't she? Is that the episode I'm thinking of?
no, it's the one where Homer becomes friends with Ned Flanders, and he wants to
Oh,
borrow
yeah.
the jet boat, and he rides it
Yeah.
over and he smashes it in the parking lot.
Yep.
And what are the odds of him smashing Flanders' car?
Yep.
Yep.
Anywho.
And I love this quote. I'm gonna give you a quick quote from Todd Flanders because it's really, really funny.
Okay.
How come we only get to go to church 3 times a week?
God, I don't even think, like, us growing up with Judaism, I guess we went to temple 3 times a week, every once in a great while, because we
Friday,
had Friday
Friday,
nights.
Saturday, and then Sunday school.
Sunday school was at the temple. So, okay. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what kind of Christians they are. I think they're Catholic. So,
Yeah.
I don't really think Catholics go to church 3 days a week unless I mean, they are super devout, but I feel like you have Sunday mass. I
And
don't.
that's about it. I don't know
I have a
where
few
else that
Catholic
goes.
friends that I could ask, but or if any of our listeners happen to be Catholic, you can say how many times a week you went to church. But I feel like once a week.
It seems good,
Yeah.
but you gotta make sure God knows. Gotta
Yeah.
make sure He knows. All right, so to close out this episode, we are going to announce the winners of our giveaway, our feedback giveaway, where we were giving away 4 Funko Pop limited edition Box Lunch Millhouse exclusives.
So
Um,
congratulations to all of our winners, which we will read off.
Yep, just want to thank everyone who submitted. This really gives us great feedback. It tells us how we're doing. It shows that you love our posts on Instagram and Facebook. So don't worry, we're gonna do another giveaway because we absolutely want to make sure we keep our fans engaged.
Yep.
So first up, we have Timothy Burleson. So thank you so much. I love he has listened to every one of our episodes. He gave us a 5-star rating.
Thanks. Awesome.
He's ready for upcoming episodes. Second up, we got Christy Contaccio. Sorry if I say that incorrectly, but she is and her co-host do a podcast called Friends of Fandom. They're kind of one of our biggest fans, I think. They really like our content. They are actually going to be guesting with us on a future episode, so stay tuned for that. Next up, we have Vincent Dawson. Just like everyone else, he's listened to every single one of our episodes, gave us a
Thank you.
5-star rating.
Thank you, sir.
They love the breakdowns. He loves the breakdowns from each of our episode, and he thinks he's seen every episode, and he's still learning more by listening to our podcast. So
Hey man, learn something new every day. And you got me beat because I'm only through like season 25 of
don't
The
tell
Simpsons.
people that. We're
Don't worry.
hosting a Simpson podcast.
But I will be watching all the Simpsons episodes. You know what though? Here's the thing. Even though I haven't seen all of them, I'm gonna enjoy watching the new ones for the first time to see them in a fresh lens. Because let's face it, we've seen the first 15 seasons how many times?
Yeah, I know,
And
right?
don't get me wrong, we're still learning new stuff about the old episodes, but I'm looking forward to watching the new episodes for the first time with a fresh set of eyes as a new viewer would watch them. So, like, if we have
Yeah.
listeners out there who have never watched The Simpsons, listen to our podcast and go back and watch the old ones, they get to see what we enjoy about them. And maybe there's viewers who haven't seen them in a really long time, don't remember them, but have seen the new ones.
Yep.
Same thing. So
Our
do not give me grief for not seeing the newer episodes.
All right, so our last winner, I picked this guy because I'll give you so let you know. So Jaden Saucedo, he was able to enter our giveaway, and at the time of his form, he let us know that he has just listened to one.
That's fair.
He
It's
gave
fine.
us a 5-star rating, and his feedback was awesome. Like, great work. Appreciate you guys' thought process and clear enunciations. I was really able to keep up with your podcast. He usually gets lost within podcasts as people talk. And so I love this guy's feedback. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've listened to more than just one at the listening of this episode. And thank you for liking our work. That's why
Yeah.
we do it. So, like I said, we'll hopefully have another giveaway for season 3. So keep that in mind. And for all you listeners out there who entered, thank you. And
Yep.
in future episodes, we hopefully will be reading some of your feedback as well, because I just like to give that. And if you guys like it, share it with your friends. Let your friends know that you like it, and
That's
let's get a society of Simpsons fans
from
together
around the
here. And
world.
from around the world, we are being heard from around the world, so it'd
We
be
are.
awesome to have a community of listeners. And there's a platform called Discord. I don't know if any of you guys
Oh,
are
yeah.
in tune with it, but hopefully the Simpsons podcast here, we can start a Discord so we can get conversations with each other
Yeah, that'd be great.
open. Last thing I'm going to mention is our YouTube channel is finally launched. There's only 2 episodes on it, episode 1 and episode 2. We're going to hopefully get the first 16 up there by the end of the listening of this podcast. Hopefully all the episodes are up there and they'll be up there weekly, because I know I've gotten a little bit of feedback from people saying that they listen to podcasts on YouTube and they use YouTube for their day-to-day.
I
So
too
I'm
have listened one of my podcasts I listen to on YouTube. So
perfect. So I'm glad that we finally were able to get on YouTube and people can get a listen to it. So until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky,
I am Robert Skolansky.
and this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Shh.